Hi guys, today I will show you about demolition.
Miss Alana, what is demolition?
In general, demolition can be defined as wrecking or taking out of any load-supporting structural element of a building such as houses, commercial establishments, and office buildings or non-building facilities such as highways, streets, and other non-inhabitable construction projects. As a demolition and the following site clearance may involve unearthing the foundations. Also, excavation activities may play a role.
Is this demolition can be dangerous?
Demolition involves additional hazards due to unknown factors which makes demolition work particularly dangerous. These may include changes from the structure's design introduced during construction, approved or unapproved modifications that altered the original design. Other than that is, materials hidden within structural members such as lead, asbestos, silica, and other chemicals or heavy metals requiring special material handling. Next is unknown strengths or weaknesses of construction materials, such as post-tensioned concrete. Hazards created by the demolition methods used.
Wow, there are many dangers. We should be more careful.
Yes. Okay guys, there are steps before we did demolition. Who know?
Huh? Is it surveying?
Yes, that's right. First step is surveying. Surveying should cover 1. The construction material used and existing use of the building. Next is adjoining pedestrian and vehicular traffic condition. Lastly is the sensitivity of neighborhood. Second is removal of hazardous material. In the case that asbestos and soil contamination materials are found on the building. Third is preparation of plan. A plan describing the location of the structure to be demolished. A plan describing the layout of all floors. A plan showing the demolition method, and more. Last step is safety measure. This step is important because demolition work are involved public people and worker. First, safety measure cover training and communication among construction worker. Next is equipment maintenance. Third is electrical safety. And lastly is fire.
Miss Alana, do we have any plan before we do demolition?
Yes, we have. But first, let meet Madam Ava, our safety officer here.
Hi guys, I am Madam Ava. Let me explain about demolition plan. Demolition plan either before demolition would start or throughout the project. Demolition plan should include a set of drawings that showing the location of the building to be demolished, other existing structures and facilities in vicinity. Proposed method of demolition. Next is proposed shoring and precautionary measures for the adjacent buildings and protection for the building to be demolished. Project detail. Permit. Site supervision, monitoring, and inspection should be carried out too.
Thank you, Madam Ava. Bye, Madam Ava. See you later. Okay guys, we continue to method of demolition. The choice of choosing a demolition method depends on any number of factors, such as the project conditions, site constraints, sensitivity of the neighborhood, and availability of equipment, etc. In general, top-down methods are applicable for most sites, particularly for those situated in busy urban areas. Other mechanical methods applied from the outside of a building line, demotion by handheld tools, or the cut and lift process may be a safe solution. For structural projections such as balconies, canopies, and verandas extending beyond the building lines, demolition by handheld tools or the cut and lift process may be a safe solution. Methods of demolition. There are various methods of demolition. 1. Demolition by human operative structures. 2. Deliberate collapse method. 3. Using of applied pulling pushing forces. 4. Using of wrecking ball. Next 5. Use of powered plant or demolition machine. 6. Using saw cut method. And lastly 7. By implosion explosive. Demolition by human operatives. This method particularly suitable for use in smaller sites, with congested space where larger machine cannot be employed. In this case, human operatives are used in the demolition process using simple electrically or pneumatically. Powered tools such as picks, hammers, wire cutters, or hand-driven hydraulic jacks, etc. Deliberate collapse method. Demolition by deliberate collapse consists of systematic removal or weakening of the key structural elements to induce the collapse of the structure. However, when applying this method, several precautions should be observed, such as sufficient distance of collapse should be provided. Collapse procedures should be carefully designed so that there is no premature collapse or collapse out of anticipated area. Control height of building structure to be collapsed. Next method is using of applied pulling and pushing forces. Connecting structural members are disconnected first, allowing part of the remaining structure to be dragged down by the use of some pulling, pushing equipment such as power jack, winching machine, pulley systems, pushing arms, powered blocks, or from the pull-push of hydraulic excavator. However, a firm base in the demolishing building is required, such as basing on an undisturbed core wall or a strong column section for the applying of pulling, pushing forces. This video shows industrial building demolition and progressive collapse using pulling cables. Using a wrecking ball. The use of wrecking ball method requires a crane equipped with a steel ball. The destruction of the building is caused by the impact energy of the steel ball suspended from a crawler crane. The wrecking ball can be operated outside or inside a building. In case the process is operated inside a building, sufficient clearance from the building interior should be made first. This also demands experienced operators in order to handle the wrecking ball and control the demolition. This diagram showing swing action of wrecking ball, and this is diagram showing vertical drop of wrecking ball. Next method is use of powered plant or demolition machine. The principle of demolition by machine is typically the same as the top-down manual method, except that most of the demolition begins with the lifting of the mechanical plant on to the building top floor. Powered plants such as crawler-mounted braking hammer are used in the demolition process, and excavating machines with bucket are used in the removal or handling of the demolished materials. However, due to the weight of these machines, they should be properly supported, such as by the use of steel props, no matter in still or in operating condition. Using saw cut method. This method is suitable for alternation and additional workwear. Accuracy is important and restriction on noise and vibration is required. It can be used to cut concrete slab and wall elements into segments or for the forming of openings, breaking into existing structure like a basement, servicing tunnel, flyover, or the other part of an inhabited building in the process of alteration or renovation works. Saw cutting can be done using the following methods. 1. Wire saw cutting. 2. Diamond core stitch drilling. This a video of diamond core stitch drilling. Lastly, 3. Disc saw demolition using disc saw cutting. Last method is implosion. Explosion. If using this method to demolish a building, contractor should carry out a comprehensive risk and environmental assessment on the effect of implosion on the neighborhood. A detailed demolition design is also important, which should cover method to pre-weaken the structure, placement of explosive time delay design to allow the building to collapse under control, director and location. Charges of explosive are placed within the fabric of structure and detonated to cause partial or complete collapse. Competent explosive specialist is required when demolition is to be done by using explosive. There are numerous types of explosives for use for various types of demolition. Considerations such as the spacing and depth of explosive to be located, the amount of explosive to be used, or the degree of fragmentation required in order to control the boundary of demolition, etc., are required throughout the planning and operation process. Wow, there are many methods of demolition. Yes, there are. You know there are many materials that involved in demolition. Demolition waste materials. Demolition waste is waste debris from destruction of buildings, roads, bridges, or other structures. Debris varies in composition, but the major components by weight include concrete, wood products, asphalt shingles, brick and clay tile, steel, and drywall. There is the potential to recycle many elements of demolition waste. This video shows how demolition waste can be recycled. Concrete and brick can be recycled by crushing it into rubble. Once sorted, screened, and contaminants are removed, reclaimed concrete or brick can be used in concrete aggregate, fill road base, or riprap. Mobile concrete crushers also allow for recycling of concrete on-site.
Does demolition have benefits?
Yes, we have. Let's go inside. Madam Ava will help me to explain about it.
Benefits. Benefit demolition or divide by two, which is construction waste, is an economic boost and building a better environment. The benefit construction waste is an economic boost, which is, although it may be simpler to haul the piles of waste off to a landfill and forget about them, the materials left after a demolition project can be quite valuable. Wood products are the most versatile construction waste, as companies can recycle them into furniture and sell them, a trend that is quite popular with young homeowners. Metal and wood products can also be reused by construction companies as a cheaper material, lowering the building cost of new property and welcoming more buyers. Next benefit is building a better environment. The creation of construction materials, specifically steel and concrete, is an intensive process with large amounts of resources used and CO2 expelled. By leaving them in a landfill, that damaging process has been wasted and will be repeated to create replacement items. Recycling construction waste benefits the environment by cutting down the extraction of virgin resources as it returns reusable materials to the construction industry and limits the demand for newer products.
Next topic I will present about challenges in demolition. There are 4 challenges, which is 1. Hazardous chemicals. 2. Nearby buildings and structures. 3. Heritage conservation laws. 4. Areas where noise is a problem. First challenge is hazardous chemicals. This is not normally a concern with home demolition, but there are occasions where hazardous chemicals are a risk. If the building is in an industrial area or close to a manufacturing plant, there may be underground tanks or pipes containing dangerous substances. It's also possible, although unlikely, that your home or land former purpose involved the use of chemicals. Next, nearby buildings and structures. It might be necessary to evacuate the area for a short time. A further problem is large trees and the presence of structures like telegraph poles. These can cause just as many issues as buildings because it's not always possible to remove them. 3. Heritage conservation laws. Certain buildings of historical or cultural interest are covered by heritage conservation laws. If your home is one of them, it doesn't mean demolition work isn't possible. However, it does mean you'll need to seek special permission, and this can delay the process. In some cases, the building itself isn't of any historical value, but it was built in a conservation area. This means the building is still covered, so it's important to proceed with care. Lastly is challenges. Noise can be disturbing for the area surrounding any demolition, but there are some instances where the loud work can be particularly problematic. One of the most common instances of this is when the demolition work needs to be done close to a hospital. Not only is it loud enough to potentially disturb patients, but the equipment's vibrations may also interfere with electronic equipment. It's important to make arrangements that minimize risk and stress.
Maintenance. Maintenance planning being practiced in the building that have demolished. Routine maintenance. Emergency or breakdown maintenance. Preventive maintenance. Predictive maintenance. Corrective maintenance. And fair wear and tear. Routine maintenance refers to any maintenance task that is done on a planned and ongoing basis to identify and prevent problems before they result in equipment failure. Some common routine maintenance includes regular inspections or service work frequently conducted at buildings that have demolished. Emergency or breakdown maintenance is maintenance required when an asset or piece of equipment suffers an unexpected breakdown or change in condition that results in an immediate threat to health and safety to people in buildings that have demolished. Preventive maintenance is the regular and routine maintenance of equipment and assets in order to keep them running and prevent any costly unplanned downtime from unexpected equipment failure. Predictive maintenance is a technique that uses data analysis tools and techniques to detect anomalies in building operation and possible defects in equipment and processes so they can fix them before they result in failure. Corrective maintenance is a maintenance task performed to identify, isolate, and rectify a fault so that the failed equipment, machine, or system can be restored to an operational condition within the tolerances or limits established for building in-service operations. Fair wear and tear are a term for damage that either naturally or inevitably occurs as a result of normal use and/or aging. Another way to look at it is, fair wear and tear is damage that occurs even when an item is used competently and with care and proper maintenance.
Lastly, demolition of buildings. Code of Practice. First, Revision MS 2318, 2010 P. This Code of Practice, COP, is the latest standard for demolition of buildings in Malaysia based on Hong Kong Code of Practice resulting from a major tragedy that blew up and became huge controversy in the Malaysian demolition industry in 2009. Earlier provision or legislation appeared to be too general and not specific to demolition work. It has been developed by the Technical Committee for Construction Practices under the supervision of Construction Industry Development Board, CIDB, Malaysia. This COP is adapted to provide guidance on the safe and good practices for demolition work and for compliance with the requirements of the relevant provisions by local authorities. However, aspects related to occupational safety and health are not included and should be referenced to other relevant requirements and regulations. The COP outlined guidelines applicable to A. Building demolition. B. Individual structure. C. Partial demolition of buildings. D. Basements. E. Underground task. F. Common civil engineering structures, e.g. industrial plants, piers, etc. Major civil engineering works are not applicable or covered in this COP, such as underpinning, excavation, highway or railway bridges, dams, and steel or timber structures and buildings. Regardless of this lacking, it's hoped that the new Malaysian standard can provide or assist demolition practitioners with more detailed and appropriate approach to improve safety and health management. Next is about safety and health. Safety and health cover of 6 point, which is 1. Training and communication 2. Equipment 3. Electric safety 4. Fire 5. Occupational health 6. Emergency exit requirements. In demolition sites, for training and communication, demolition workers, including plant or equipment operators, shall go through proper job safety training and be informed of the potential hazards by attending training sessions as well as on-the-job training. They are also required by the Labor Department to attend other safety training courses for construction works. The safety concept can be maintained by regular safety meetings throughout the project period. Site. safety attitude may be cultivated by strict enforcement of the safety regulations by the site supervisor. Apart from instilling the importance of safe attitudes for workers and plant or equipment operators, they shall be trained by competent instructors on the following to observe safety precautions in accordance with regulations as listed. A. Working at height speed, working in confined spaces. C. Working with lifting appliances and lifting gear. D. Use of personal protective equipment. E. Hot works. F. Handling of chemicals. G. Health hazards in demolition works. And H. Safe plant operating zones and safe plant manipulation zones. Next is equipment. All equipment shall be tested and examined before use. They shall be properly stored and maintained. The equipment shall be inspected daily and results of the inspection shall be reported accordingly. A detailed safety instruction shall be provided to cater for specific situations of the project if necessary. For next safety and health is electric safety. A properly connected power source from a local electric utility supplier or a mobile electricity generator shall be utilized in demolition sites. The safety requirements given in the factories and industrial undertakings, electricity, regulations shall be adhered to. Next is fire. All flammable goods shall be removed from site unless they are necessary for the works involved. Any remaining flammable goods shall be stored in proper storage facilities. All furniture, timber, doors, etc. shall be removed before any welding work is performed. Firefighting appliances shall be provided and maintained in working conditions. The construction site safety regulations require the contractor to maintain in good condition and free from defects all firefighting appliances provided in such construction site. 5. Occupational health. The health of workers on site shall be properly protected in accordance with the relevant subsidiary. Regulations of the Factory and Industrial Undertakings Ordinance and the Occupational Safety and Health Ordinance with particular attention to the following areas. A. Exposure to dust. B. Chemical exposure. C. Heat stress and ventilation. D. Noise exposure. D. Medical and first aid facilities. F. Sanitation. G. Occupational diseases. Lastly, 6. Emergency exit requirements. In demolition sites, emergency exits shall be provided during building demolition. In case of any emergency evacuation, the emergency exit will serve as a lifeline for transportation of injured workers. A minimum of 1 exit route shall be maintained and designated as the emergency exit at all times during the demolition. Adequate lighting and fire extinguishing equipment shall be provided. Emergency exit shall be properly protected, free of obstruction, and properly marked with exit signs or other indications to clearly show the route. All workers shall be informed about the exit route.
Guideline. Demolition of buildings does not warrant a preliminary environmental report, PER, approval or an environmental impact assessment, IA, license. It requires, amongst others, a building and land use permit under the Local Government Act 2011. First, any application for the demolition of buildings shall also comply with relevant provisions under the Local Government Act 2011, the Building and Control Act 2012, the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Service Act 2013, and all applicable guidelines and regulations. Next is, according to Section 117(2) of the Local Government Act 2011, any person who intends to commence the construction or demolition of a building shall apply to its relevant local authority for an outline planning permission or a building and land use permit. Lastly, according to the Building Control Act 2012, building includes a permanent or temporary structure erected or made on, in or under any land and includes the erection, extension, or demolition of a building. Case study. Lumbakuta Flats Demolition Bsr6025A-Demolition Project.
Project Detail. Company in Church. Bsr6025A SDN. BHD. And Public Work Department. JKR. Timeline. 8 months. Description. This project is to build future customs, immigration and quarantine complex. SIC. Demolition work. Demolition is carried out only one residential block at a time. Involves hoarding being erected around the building and the machinery being hoisted to the working level.
Safety requirement at case study. Fans or catch platforms shall be provided to protect persons or property from being struck by falling material or debris. Access to area where flooring has been removed or where there are dangerous holes or openings, such as lift shafts, shall be barred or protected with guardrails and tow boards. Materials used to cover holes shall be securely fixed in position. Danger, keep out, and no trespassing signs are to be displayed. Debris shall be wetted to minimize dust generation. Containers for debris and rubbish are to be provided at designated locations.